Hello, hello, and welcome to Unfiltered Eat Better, Think Better series. This is where we get real about our emotions, mindset, connection to food, and healing, and what it really takes to break free and feel good in your body and life again. I'm your host, Janie Shah, and in this series, I sit down with everyday people who face challenges with their health, body, their mind, their confidence, or long held beliefs that have held them back and found powerful ways to rise and grow through it all. These are all real stories, no filters, no fluff, just raw conversations about what they struggled with, what actually helped, and how they created transformation from the inside out. So, whether you're on your own journey or just curious on what's possible, you're in the right place. So, here's to eating better, thinking better, and living a phenomenal life. Let's go. Today's conversation is a very deeply, deeply human one. It's going to center around loss, but also what loss really reveals to us. And I'm joined by the amazing CeCe today, whose journey has included ups and downs and some incredibly difficult life experiences, from losing her first job to losing a pregnancy, navigating the ups and downs of marriage, and losing both her parents after they were unwell. And yet, through all of that, she's come to hold this really powerful perspective that even in those hardest of moments, everything is still working for you. And today we're going to explore what it actually means, right? To live through loss, how we cope, where support, self love, and growth all come into that process. And I came across CeCe, so many random connections, but mainly I
Yeah,
read her book. I'll take some self love with that. And it's a beautiful,
yeah.
incredible book. I encourage everyone to go grab a copy and read it. There you go, it's up there. So, CeCe, thank you so much for being here and for being open to this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Janie. And thank you for being willing to have these conversations because there's a lot of talk of how you can be better, do better, but what about the rough stuff? What about the rough stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Thank you. So, I'd love to start with one moment in your journey that felt
yeah,
particularly significant for you. So, would you be open to sharing what it was like going through one of those phases in your life where you experienced?
yeah. Yeah, you listed them there at the start. So let me maybe start with the earliest one. One of the earlier ones was straight out of uni. I got a job in corporate. I was so excited. To be honest, it was the second job I wanted. The
Yeah.
job that I had the job that I had wanted. So I was living in Australia at the time. So I'm Kenyan. I'm back in Nairobi. I was living in Australia at the time. Um, and the first job I wanted, the organization was really happy with me. They wanted to get me on board, but they wanted me to move to a completely different city. And I thought they wanted me to move to Perth. And I had left Nairobi and built a life in Melbourne. And anybody who has left their home country to pursue opportunities knows how much of a big deal it is to build and find new community. I'd met my husband. He was my partner at the time, my boyfriend at the time. And so I went like this, yay, I've got this job to, oh no, they want me to leave Melbourne. And my partner, my husband, my now husband was also just like, oh man, because of course he had also gotten a job there in Melbourne. And I said to myself, okay, let me think about this. Let me think about this because this is a really prestigious organization, et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of it all, I was like, no, no, it's gonna be so hard for me starting from scratch again, new city, new job, no friends, all of this stuff. And there's a bit of trauma around that. We travel from here to there everywhere. These days, people travel, but we don't talk enough about how hard it is to settle, make roots, make friends, etc., etc. So my second option gave me a job, and I was a little bit reluctant, but I said, you know what? No, this is what's meant to be. It wasn't the other organization, it's these guys. So I go, I say yes to this second opportunity. I get in there, I give it my all, and it just it never ignited. It
Right.
never, it never, it just didn't go where I'd wanted it to go. So the organization, after my probation, and that organization had a 6 month probation, they were like, sorry, CeCe, we're not going to confirm you. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? I
Yeah.
was pretty disappointed and devastated, but in my heart of hearts, I knew, but this was my second option. I hadn't really wanted this job. And so from a very early age, and here's the thing, I hadn't started receiving coaching at the time. Yeah.
Okay.
So before I became started working as a coach, running my own practice, I received coaching. I hadn't found my first coach at the time, but that was the loss and the disappointment that got me thinking, you know what? Uh, I think I need a coach. I think I need to talk to someone about just how to navigate life because up until that point, I was just go, go, go. When I tell people what my routine was like when I was at uni, they get pretty shocked. It was uni Monday sorry, it was uni Tuesday to Friday, and then Friday evening, Saturday and Sunday, I was at work, right? And I just thought that was normal, hey, you've been raised to be a high performer, you do what you've got to do. And I love my job. But I look back now and I'm like, oof, that was nuts. So my
Yeah.
very first job didn't go the way I had hoped. And I can smile about it now, but back then I was pretty devastated. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And there's so many points you touched on there. This whole relocation, moving out, it is a big deal. I remember when I first went
Yeah.
to university, it was a whole shock, right? There's the culture shock of
Yeah.
going to a different country that's not
Yeah.
yours. The way people do things, the way they speak, the things they speak about,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
different. And you mentioned coaching, and I'm actually just thinking, I was like, oh my gosh, if I had a coach at that time, imagine how different the experience would have been. And
Yes.
that's a beautiful insight because coaching can start whenever. It's not just something for when you're older and you have problems. No, it's about
Yes.
life, right? It's giving you the best experience of life that you can have. Um,
Yes.
do you ever, I was just curious, do you ever wonder what would have happened if you took the first job and was like, because the second job didn't work out, because it was the second option? Is that a dangerous
Yes.
rabbit hole to go into?
Yeah, no, but that's such a great question, Janie. I have thought about it. I have imagined what my life would have been like if that first organization, and it was Procter and Gamble. I mean, there's nothing wrong with saying it was Procter and Gamble.
Yeah,
I had worked in FMCG. My part-time job was in FMCG, and I really like FMCG, touching things and selling things that you can touch.
yeah,
Um, and I thought about it, and I've gone, you know what? If I'd gotten that job in Melbourne, honestly, Janie, I'm pretty sure I would have ended up a super successful corporate person with some very deep insecurities. So I would probably have found a coach anyway, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it would have gone, Janie, because back then, I didn't know about, I mean, I knew about emotional intelligence, but I didn't know how to practice it.
yeah,
Who knows how I would have handled the pressures? I mean, I know I would have found it a lot of fun and really enjoyable and all the rest of that. But it was that disappointment and then the disappointment of not getting a job that really got me thinking, okay, this is a pretty big failure for me. It was my first big failure. Um, and it set me off on a trajectory that I'm really happy about now. That
yeah.
was when I picked up the book, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. So
Right. Yeah.
many years later, when, now people are saying things like fail fast and fail early, I'm like, I wish I'd heard that way back then. I'd have been like, this is great. I'm failing early. But
Yeah.
it was a pretty scary moment. And I, but there was a part of me, Jamie, that still knew I've just got to remain creative. I've got to
Yeah.
remain creative about what to do. And so I made a radical decision. I remember this like it was yesterday. I was in my, early 20s. Um, I was my mid 20s. I was sitting on a tram. It was at night, going back home, and I just got this inspiration to call one of my sisters. She was living in the UK at the time. She was there temporarily. Her job had moved her to the UK for just a few years before coming back to Nairobi. And I got along really well with this sister. And I was like, let me ask for help. Let me just say I'm not okay and ask for help. And I remember, I think I WhatsApped her or I called her and I just said, can I just come visit you? Because I need to figure out what's going on. And she said yes, no questions, no nothing, just yes. So I chatted to my husband, boyfriend at the time, and I said, "Look, I love you. I want to be with you, but I'm in a wobbly place, and I'm just taking responsibility. I need to figure out what I'm doing." And here's the thing, Janie. I knew I didn't want to betray myself by starting to languish in Australia. That scared me. The thought of being in Australia and now getting a crappy job and just being okay with that and all of these things. I didn't want to start languishing in Australia. Being in Australia was an awesome opportunity that my folks had given me. But I had graduated from uni and my folks were like, okay, good luck. You're on your own, which is the right thing to do. Um, I didn't want to start languishing. And thankfully, Stefan was like, yeah, it was a hard decision, but he's like, yeah. And then I also said, look, and Janie, remember this. I don't know that I'm burnt out. You haven't heard me say the word burnout. In that moment, I don't know that I'm burnt out. And so I'm just doing that high achieving thing of gotta figure this out. This sucks, but gotta figure it out.
Yeah.
But now I look back and I can tell you without a doubt, I was so burnt out. I was so burnt out. Um,
Mm.
but anyway, I went to visit my sister. I got the book, The Power of Now,
Yeah.
put it in my suitcase. I went to England and it was a really nice time because
Time out.
I love walking around, experiencing different environments.
Right.
But I have to be honest with you, it was being in my sister's apartment and reading that book that really, it was an
Mm.
amazing, amazing moment. And I'm like, holy moly, this is it. Because
Yeah.
I want to make sure I'm remembering this correctly. In that book, Eckhart Tolle reveals how he too was a high achiever and just got to a point where he's like, what am I doing? This is not fulfilling. And I went,
Mm.
oh, this is it. So I was very lucky, Janie, because that crappy experience very quickly led to some beautiful experiences
Mm.
thereafter. So I got to think about my career very early on after leaving, very soon after leaving uni,
Yeah.
something that some people don't do till much, much later. Yeah.
Mm. How did you come across the book, The Power of Now?
Mm, so Melbourne's a pretty cool city. There's so much to do. There's so much cool stuff to do. And if I'm not wrong, it was I know I got it from a bookshop. So I got the hard copy, not audiobooks, nothing like that. So I believe I got it from I'm gonna say a really old brand name now. The brand no longer exists. Borders. Do you remember Borders?
Yeah, I do.
I'm
Oh,
pretty sure
wow.
it was Borders because there weren't that many other bookshops I used to go to.
Mm. Okay.
Um, so I grabbed it
Awesome.
from there,
Okay.
and and I first heard of Eckhart Tolle through the Oprah Winfrey show, but I had heard about him those shows with Eckhart Tolle. they had already aired a long time ago. So it wasn't a recent thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But
Oh,
I
amazing.
remembered the name. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's beautiful. So now you've had this one experience, you've caught on to the
Mhm.
power of now. And how is it that that experience has supported you in future losses to come your way and challenges that come your way?
Yeah,
Maybe if you could walk us through those and what this taught you.
yeah, yeah. So, Janie, I am one of the poster children of uh, high achievers can fail, and when they fail, they don't take it well. What will they do next? When when you've been taught to be a high achiever, which is a really good thing, there needs to be balance. There needs to be balance, which is why I'm so big on not just leadership in my work, but well-being as well. I have no interest in helping smart people reach amazing heights and then crash because they're burnt out or because they've destroyed their relationships. So for me, the leadership has to go with the well-being. So reading that book and experiencing that loss kickstarted my personal development journey. And this is the catch when you do well for a long period of time and you're judging yourself by your grades and your this and your that. And look at me, my part time job is at a high end, cool department store and da 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 da. Um, when when you fail, when you fall hard, and it can be quite a bump. So that first loss reset me really nicely. Um, it kickstarted my personal development journey. I started engaging in personal development quite earnestly, wanting to be intentional. Let me think about my thoughts, let me think about my actions. What do I want to do with my life? Because the safety net of school isn't there. What do I want to do with my life? And so that kickstarted me. I I had spoken to therapists on and off, never consistently. And I want to really emphasize that. Prior to that, I had done it inconsistently, just like a plaster, just when I needed it. But that's not the way to do therapy. That's not the way to do coaching. You got to do it consistently for a while. And then when you're at a certain level of capability, mentally and emotionally, then you can plug in and out of therapy and coaching sessions. So I remember then coming back to Kenya for about 10 months. Um, I wanted to work. It was also really good just coming back to Kenya because, as I mentioned in the book, um, coming back to Kenya after that failure
Yeah.
made me look around and go, oh, hang on, I could come back to Kenya permanently. I could live here. I didn't stay away for very long. I used to come back every 2 years, 2 years, but I would
Yeah.
come back for 2 weeks, summer, summer buddies, as we call them
Yeah.
here in Nairobi. That 10 months and working, I worked in advertising, which was fun. And, there was a lot of pressure, a lot of money on the line, ad campaigns, very expensive, big companies spending lots of money. That experience, and also had a really cool boss, and her boss was also really cool. That experience was such a blessing, and I talk about it in the book. I talk
Yeah.
about how that made me realize that, oh, hang on, Kenya, I can do this. I can do this because
Yeah.
my friends are also working. Where I can do this. So then I go back to Australia. I get a job again in media planning and buying, which is an arm of advertising. That's what I had done in Nairobi. And I had said to Steph, and I was like, you know what, Steph, Nairobi was really good. Let's just think about it. We could move back. We could move back. And he was open. So that whole experience, Janie, really got me thinking. I was like, this whole thing of everything happens for you, it can
Mm.
sound so annoying and frivolous, but that experience and how everything unfolded made me realize, hang on, maybe everything is happening for me,
Mm.
and if I fast forward a few years later, um, now I'm working with my first coach, and we did talk about childhood. I felt like the oddball in my family of origin. I felt quite different. My siblings were older. I think the age gap is significant. So between me and the sister I follow, there's 4 years, there's 8 years with the brother after that, 10 years. So
Mm,
age does make a difference. And yes, I had friends, but I'm quite a different thinker. I'm quite quirky, and I didn't really have anybody to bounce that off
right.
in my family of origin. So I felt like I'm an oddball. And again, because I haven't told anybody, I feel like an oddball. I'm feeling just trying to find
Mm,
my way. People didn't know. People didn't know. So there were moments of loneliness
yeah.
growing up. This is why the weird ones, the different ones, when we find each other, it's like a party.
It's a party.
Hey, you get me, you get me,
Yeah.
you get me, you get me, you
Yeah.
get me. So with my first coach, um, started talking about childhood as well, and she also helped me just understand and see that yeah, everything is happening for you,
For
CeCe.
you.
So she
Yeah.
helped me connect the dots. You know, when I got um, the next job, again, back to FMCG, I worked in the organic food industry in Australia. That was such a cool job, working for an entrepreneur, learning from a founder directly. It had its challenges, like any job does, but I met so many cool people in that job. I'm getting my coaching. I'm starting to understand my childhood. Um, so yeah, it's
Yeah.
this is when you start looking at your life in this way, when you start connecting the dots instead of believing that it's all just random and yeah, bad things happen, get over it, move on.
Yeah.
When you start connecting the dots, you really do see that actually that difficult thing that happened was happening for me.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
Perhaps you didn't know it at the time, but moving forward, for anyone watching this now, if you're going through a tough time, what I say to my clients is this: what are you learning from this? We don't have to wait for the bad thing to finish.
Yeah.
What are you learning from this? I
Right
have
now.
asked people in the middle of a divorce, what are you learning from this? I have
Mm,
asked people in extremely toxic workplaces, and these are senior leaders. They look like they're bawling,
mm, yeah.
What are you learning from this? And when people pause and start reflecting, they realize, actually, yeah, I am learning something from this. I am learning something from this. And that's a very empowered place to come from.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, just it's you can call it so many things, right? A reframe of the mindset, being
Yeah.
grateful for the moment that you're in right now, as difficult as it may be, look for
Yeah.
what is working out for me here.
Yeah.
And it's a really empowering thought, I believe as well through this journey is that the more you can look at, oh my God, this is not just life. It's like, hang on. You when you take more agency over it, when you take more control over it, to be like, no, this
Yeah.
is my life.
Yeah.
Okay, this is
Yes.
happening for me. Things are not just happening to you. At the end of
Yes.
the day, we all have experiences. We all make choices that lead to those experiences. And the more you can open yourself up to the idea that, okay, hang on, maybe this is connected to something. Maybe it's not. I don't know, right?
Yes.
But
Yes. Yes.
don't be the victim all the time. And I know that can sound really difficult as well, but
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
imagine the difference in thought when you're experiencing something and thinking,
Yeah.
oh man, life sucks. Why does this happen to me? Versus,
Yeah.
okay, this is challenging, but how about I think about it this way? And what a
Yes.
different experience it could be, in that sense. And
Absolutely.
I'm trying to think of a relevant personal example. It will come to me. It will come to me. But
It'll come to you,
no.
Janie. I'm telling you, it'll come to you. But you're absolutely right, Janie, because I mean, listen, Janie, that's what I had to do when we lost our first pregnancy. It sucked. I talked about it on a storytelling platform called Engage. You can find it on YouTube. Um, And it's okay to say and think and believe this sucks, because sadness and disappointment are normal human emotions.
Yeah.
What we say in coaching is you don't want to stay there for too long. You don't want to rush out of it too fast, but you
Yeah.
don't want to stay there for too long. And truly, truly, Jamie, what I did during that difficult period was I called my coach. Well, first of all, Jamie, I told people. Um,
Yeah.
my husband and I, we held each other, we cried. It really sucked. But it's interesting because in that moment, in those dark moments, when someone's there for you or you're there for each other, it solidifies your bond. You know,
Mm.
I say to people who struggle asking for help, I tell them, you haven't given the people who love you an opportunity to show you they love you. Because it's great to hang out when we're at parties and dinners and, having fun in Cape Town or whatever. But what about the people who come through when you're down? That don't deny yourself that opportunity, right? So my husband and I, we swam in it, we dealt in it, we didn't run away, there was no avoidance. And then I knew, Janie, that I had to tell people.
Mm.
So start off by telling my mom. I told my friends. We told my in-laws, and the outpouring of love was really comforting. But also, Janie, the number of women who told me, "Oh, CeCe, yeah, I've been through that," and I'm like, "What?" So many women have been through that, and I went, why isn't anyone talking about this? And that just gave me more fuel to talk
Mm.
about how you can bounce back after a miscarriage. Don't be afraid. You can have other children. We have a daughter. She's turning 9 in a
Wow.
few weeks. But
Yeah.
honestly, Janie, that's what I did. I had developed the muscle to ask for help, to acknowledge that I'm not in a good place. I went and called some of my old coaches, and one of my old coaches is a lovely Greek Cypriot lady in Melbourne. Um, she did the thing to me. She's like, CeCe, what have you learned from this? Like we went straight into it.
Wow. Yeah.
After you can't be allowed to wallow for too long. Yeah.
Mm.
What are
But
we learning
Cece,
from this?
like,
Mm-hmm.
what was that like for you? You're in that
Mm-hmm.
moment of grief, right? You've lost something that you were nourishing and, and,
Mm.
and hoping would
Looking
come to
forward
life.
to.
You're, it's
Yeah.
hard. And then you're asked that question. So for you personally, like, what was that like then?
Yes, yes. So this is the thing. I had built the muscle because, and this is why I keep saying to people, start early, start early. I say to people, I will get a coach for my daughter when she's a tween. Of course, it can't be me, but I truly, truly, Janie, I will look for a coach for my daughter, and I'll say to her, hey, look, this is something that has helped me. Just go 3 sessions, talk about whatever you need to talk about, and see what comes out of it. Because that thing of talking to somebody who can help you see it in a different way, who can help you through, is very, very powerful. So I had built that muscle, right? Which is why I reached out to this coach, for example. I said, hey, this is what's happened. And the thing about plugging back into a former coach is you have that relationship. So even if it's years later or months later, they fit you in. It's like we're not going to catch up next month. Let's talk tomorrow. I can fit you in. And I do the same for old clients that reach out. I'm like, I can fit you in. Let's do this. So she knows me. She knows me well. And so she just went right into it. She's like, really sorry about this, CeCe. What are you learning from this situation? And I thought about it, and Janie, in that situation, I immediately realized, holy moly, life is precious. Life is precious. You have no idea what a miracle you are that you're here. Life is precious. I remember a guy doing a delivery for me. Um, I opened the door, I look at him, and my head went, does this guy know how lucky he is to be alive and that life is precious? Like,
Wow.
I and it has all these years later, that knowing has never gone away. I'm like, man, life is precious. Life is precious. You're here. You made it. So I started reeling off all these things I was learning, all these things I was learning. And then she dropped something on me that I don't think I'll ever forget. And when I tell other people this, they're like, whoa. She says to me, there you go, CeCe. Thank that life for teaching you this.
Mm.
And I went, wait, what? She goes, yeah,
Mm.
that soul has fulfilled its purpose. I said, what? She's like, yeah, that soul has fulfilled its purpose. Look at all the things you've learned. And then she says, and remember, CeCe, you're also a teacher. So you must share this widely. And
Yeah,
that was the reason why I felt I could talk about it publicly on that storytelling platform. That's why I talked about it in my book. That's why I'm able to talk to you about it now. I was like,
yeah,
wow, okay, got it,
yeah.
got it, got it,
Wow.
got it. It completely
I,
changed how I do my work, for example, Janie.
yeah.
I used to have mixed sessions, and I still have mixed sessions, different genders. But after that experience, I realized, nope, I need to talk to people, women, about certain things. I need to talk to men about certain things.
Mm.
And my work became even more powerful. My work
Powerful.
became even
Wow.
more powerful.
I
Yeah,
can
because
I
of
can
that
just
soul.
feel that. As you're
That was
saying,
deep.
like I can just feel that. And
Yeah.
something important I want to highlight here as well is that there's that difference then as well between therapy and coaching. And
Yes.
coaching helps you move through and not just repeat and talk about the past, which can be
Yeah.
important for people. You
Yeah.
sometimes to do that. But the coaching really supports you in actually moving forward, moving through and taking, yes,
Yes.
the past trauma or the issue or the challenge that happened, but
Hmm.
help you move forward and not stay stuck in
Yes.
the past. Because if you stay stuck
Yes.
in the past, you're never moving forward. And that's the one
Yeah.
beauty I love about coaching, about life coaching. It's like, let's be in
Yeah.
the present. Let's observe our thinking. Let's observe what's
Yeah.
happening. Let's move forward with that. And
Yes.
I
Let's
love that.
alchemize.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
Jamie, the bit that people still don't understand is we're not tossing the past aside, sweeping it under the
Mm.
carpet. Oh, it's the past. You're alchemizing it. So I want to invite the listener to just rewind a few more minutes and remember what my coach said to me. She said, there you go, CeCe. Thank that soul. You thought that soul was going to be a baby. You thought that soul was, you were going to, have decades together, but no, the universe had other plans. This soul has come through for a very short time to teach this lady called CeCe a lesson that she can absorb in her own life and teach her students. That's how you alchemize. So when coaches like myself tell you you can change your past, this is what we mean. You can change the meaning of what happened. You can change the meaning of what happened and not bring the old unhelpful meaning with you into your future. Um, one of my, unfortunately, I have a few friends who have ended their marriages. It's for the best, I have to admit. But there's one friend who said to me, CeCe, I'm working on myself and I'm going to be good, but I know I don't want to be alone. So she is fully committed to working on herself and getting back into the dating scene. And I just started clapping. We were in a restaurant and I just started clapping because I said, that is awesome. And that's
Mm.
going to be really good for you. That is her saying, I'm not taking this difficult relationship, divorce, failure thing into my future. She's like, no, working on myself, sorting myself out, and I'm going to get back into the dating pool. And I said to her, and this is the truth, I know quite a few people for whom the second marriage was the one. So, yeah, the second,
Yeah,
I think
some person,
someone needs to hear that. Second
yeah,
marriage was the one.
it's the one. Yeah, I mean, this can be a whole other topic in and of itself, like
Yes.
relationships and
Yes.
marriage and commitment. But yeah, I've come across so many people. Just the other day, I met someone who's been together with their second partner for 33 years and could not be happier
Wow.
in that second one.
Yeah.
So sometimes, yeah, you're in a relationship and you need to, like you said, you need to learn what you're learning from that. And then the next one, right, is even
The
better.
next one. The next
Yeah,
one.
but
Yeah.
the beauty and I find maybe the important message behind that is that she's chosen to work on herself, to be her best self,
Yes.
know herself, be her happiest
Yes.
self, and that's
Yes.
where you can then enter a relationship in full, in wholesome,
In
um,
full.
as you
Yes.
are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
CeCe, we're going to start wrapping up the conversation, and there's so many. I think we're going to need a part two
We will
to
need a
dive
part two.
to dive into
Got
so
so
much
many
more.
stories. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I also just want to ask this question because something you said was really important is that we need to ask for help. And
Mhm.
a lot of times we don't know how to ask for help. Maybe we don't know where to ask for help. As a
Mhm.
society, maybe as a culture, we've been ingrained to be like,
Yeah.
nope, don't ask for help. You got to do it. Just get on with it. Maybe
Yeah.
even that high achiever syndrome is if I ask for help, I'm a failure. So maybe
Yes.
two parts to this is why is it that so many people struggle to ask for help? And
Mhm.
what's something that they can do to overcome that? Because it's really important and it's okay
Yes.
to ask for help.
Yeah, it's really important because okay, so why do many of us still struggle to ask for help? It's because, for example, you are not adept at cognition. Cognition is, very simply put, thinking about your thinking, right? So your brain says, "Don't ask for help; it's embarrassing. Don't ask for help; you look like a fool." Cognition is you going, that thought is not helpful.
Yeah.
So you're observing your thoughts and you're asking yourself, this is part of emotional intelligence, observing your thoughts and asking yourself, is that a helpful thought? Is that a helpful thought? So too many of us are not engaging. We're not adept at emotional intelligence. We don't make the time. There are people who are still skeptical about coaching. There are people who still won't go for therapy in this day and age. And that's a problem. So we don't ask for help because we were taught to, that's not the smart thing to do. Some people have been told, don't go sharing our business, your business out there. It's all these things we learn from some of our families of origin. That's why some people are really getting stuck with this. Um, some people just have a DIY mentality. You're smart in all these other things. So now you think you can figure this other thing out. And that's also a mistake. You're good at one, two, three, four, but that doesn't mean you'll be good at six, seven, eight. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
thinking about your thinking is really going to help you.
Yeah.
One of the things I did when I started my business, very soon after, it was less than 4 or 5 months in, I got myself a business coach. And that's why 12 years later, I'm still in business because I know how to coach. I've gotten the accreditation, but I don't know how to run a business, right? I've been an employee for all these years. I need to learn how to run a business. And that was one of the smartest things I could have done for myself because my very first business coach, I've had two or three, my very first business coach um, just helped me avoid some of the common pitfalls that people
Yeah.
fall into when they've started a business.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Okay.
ask for help. So,
Okay.
how I try to shift it for people, especially, the high performers, the people with big dreams, big goals, is it's the smart thing to do. That's how I reframe. It's the smart thing to do. And you don't
Mm,
have to ask 1,000 people for help. Just find the right one person, the right one or
yeah.
two people.
Yeah.
But it's the smart thing to do. It shortens the not knowing and the confusion, right? You
Yeah.
still have to figure a few things out. Your coach is not spoon feeding you, your therapist is not spoon feeding you. You still
Yeah.
have to figure a few things out, but at least you know you're moving in the right direction and not just throwing stuff at the wall and watching to
Mhm.
see what will stick. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. So To everyone listening and watching, it's okay to ask for help. Just speak to one
Yeah,
person, anyone, and you never know. The universe will work itself out and find you the right person who can support.
exactly.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, CeCe. I have a question that I always
Yes.
close with, and that is, if healing had a voice, what would it say to you today?
If healing had a voice, what would it say to me today? Thank you for embracing me. Thank you for embracing me. Um, I'm just here to help. I'm just here to
Love
help.
that.
Yeah,
Love
I'm
that.
just here to help. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you. And where can people find you and your book and connect with you?
Yes. Thank you so much. So they can go to linkedin.com, just type in CeCe, that's my first name, CeCe Ojani, Ojany. You can go to Google, type in CeCe Ojany. Believe it or not, you can now find yourself even on ChatGPT. So you can go to ChatGPT, type in CeCe Ojani. The book is available on Amazon. It's called I'll Take Some Self Love with That. Just type in my name. It's a nice, easy read.
Yeah.
And what I'm most proud of about this book is that it resonates with so many people. I've had men from different cultures and countries say, wow, that section really resonated with me. Women. Um, yeah, you'll see
Yeah.
yourself in these pages.
Absolutely. And I'm going to confirm that 100%. I read that book and I saw myself in so
Yes.
many different chapters. So thank you for writing that.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. This conversation resonated with you, helped you, or made you feel seen, please be sure to hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. And come join our Facebook community, Eat Better, Think Better. It's where these conversations continue and where you'll find real people walking the same path. And if you're ready to go deeper in your own journey, whether it's healing your relationship with food, shifting your mindset, or breaking free from beliefs that are holding you back, you'll find more resources, support, and ways to work with me at www.eatbetterthinkbetter.com. So until next time, here's to eating better, thinking better, and living a phenomenal life. Let's go.